Take me home, cause I wanna feel like I belong. They relate to all this pain in my past, so they listen to my song. So let's go back to where it began and where it all started from. Take this chance, one last dance, cause I've been waiting way too long. Take my hand, I wanna show you something. Promise I've been dying to see ya. They say the grass ain't always greener. I guess what they're saying is true. In my dreams, that's where I seen her. Take my heart and take all of me, girl. Let me show you what I wanna do. I wanna spend the rest of my life with you. Are you listening, darling? Look where we started. Breaking in half, left us broken hearted. So where do we go from here? Are you listening, darling? Look where we started. Breaking in half, left us broken hearted. So where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Yeah, where do we go from here? Are you listening, darling? Are you listening, darling? Are you listening, darling? Look where we started. Breaking in half, left us broken hearted. So where do we go from here?
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another live stream. My name is AJ, of course, one of the mentors here at Bit Trading, and as always, today we are going to run through the Bitcoin technical analysis. We're going to take a look at what is going on. We're going to talk through what we can kind of look for next. You know, we're going to take a look at how I'm positioned and how I'm looking to position myself in this market as well to, of course, extract some more profits out of this market. That is the ultimate goal every day coming into these markets to, extract as much profit as possible with the least amount of risk. That is what my goal is in the markets, of course. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff. So let's, of course, jump into it. But before we do, please make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Helps me out, helps the channel out, and I can continue to bring this content to you. And of course, if you're new, make sure that you do subscribe. And we will jump into it. So how am I positioned? Okay, well, still very much short. Okay, still very much short. I'm still holding this short trade. Like I explained in the previous live stream yesterday, I have closed that long trade, right? The long trade has been closed. I think that closed on the Friday. Because we did come back down to entry, where of course our stop loss on that trade was, as you can see here, long from the 5th of August is now closed. As you can see here, realized profit just a little over $3,000, and the status is all closed. That has been closed, and still holding that short. Now, taking a look at this 5th of August here at 4:36. That's when you can see here that the trade was open. And then, of course, when we go up to when I entered into this trade, as you can see there, I've taken the swing long from the failed auction, Monday, the 5th of August at 4:37 p.m. So, that's just the proof, right, that I've actually taken this trade, and I've not just said that I'm taking a trade that I'm not going to take it, that I'm not taking. So, that's how I've been positioned. That's how I'm positioned. Still very much short on the market at this moment in time, and for a valid reason. Okay, there is a valid reason to be short on this market at this moment in time, as there is, of course, a valid reason to be long on the market, and of course we will talk about that. But there is a valid reason to be short from where I shorted from, and there is a valid reason to still be short from where we are now. And the reason being is because we are still in, of course, bearish market structure, right? Nothing has really changed since yesterday. We've seen a little bit of consolidation over the course of today. Nothing has really changed. We're still in this bearish structure. And as long as we are in this bearish structure, I am going to continue to look for a new low, right? So sub $48,900. Now, of course, all right, we may not see that, right? We may not see that pullback. Where would my invalidation of this be? Okay, well, that would, of course, be breaking the bearish structure that we are in. Okay, if we break that bearish structure, then I understand, okay, we could actually look for higher prices here. We can look for higher prices. And why? Okay, why am I thinking this? Well, because remember, right, we had bullish structure here, right, when we took the long trade. We had bullish structure that was formed. Right, what did I say up here? I said I was shorting. What did I say if we broke the bullish structure? That we were going to come down to, of course, a new low, right? Going back to what I said, why have I said that? Well, because, of course, previously here, bullish structure on that previous long trade that we took back here, right? Of course, we had the short setup from the high. Then we started to see price break the bullish structure, okay, and form bearish structure for a new low. Again, we've seen this before here, bullish structure, which of course we were longing, okay. We got the short trade set up from here, bearish structure then formed, okay, and a new low was put in. We've seen the exact same thing back here, bullish structure, right, which was then, of course, giving us that short trade from up there. We then formed bearish structure for, of course, a new low. Okay, so this is the trend at the moment. This is a trend. And, for any regular watchers here, you hear me say this every single day, right? You hear me say this every single day. But it is something that is very, very important. It is something that you do really need to understand because it is the trend at this moment in time. Okay, of course, at some point the trend is probably going to break. Yes, right, and then we will form some sort of a new trend, right? So of course we can look to adapt and trade a new trend in the future, but this is the trend at this moment in time. Okay, so again, looking at it, bullish structure that has been broken to bearish structure, and we are now looking for a new low. So that is why I remain bearish on Bitcoin at this moment in time. We can zoom out, we can see the larger structure as well is still very bearish. So, overall, I have a bearish perspective on where we are up here at all-time highs, right? The rough area of all-time high, like 2021 all-time highs and the all-time high that we've just created, right? Sort of in that zone. We are consolidating, but I'd class this as bearish consolidation. Why? Because lower highs and lower lows. Of course, you can be looking at this as a bull flag, but that's a whole nother story, right? That's a whole nother story that I've talked about before, with the majority of the market thinking the same thing and expecting the same thing, and the opposite thing happens. So for me, everybody's looking at this as a big, big bull flag. Are we going to see this play out? Chances are not really. Could it play out? Yeah, of course, right? And if it does start to play out, I'm not going to go against it, right? I will not necessarily trade with it, because I won't long a breakout, but I would have hoped that I would have got into a nice long trade, right? So I could take advantage of it from a lower price, of course. So for me, as long as we're in this bearish structure, I can just look for a new low, right? I can just look for a new low. Like I said, if we start to break that bearish structure and form bullish structure again, right, that's when we can kind of consider, right, that maybe we're still kind of in bullish structure, okay, just on a larger scale. So maybe we could come up, take out this high once more, then maybe get a short setup from here where we then come down for a new low. That's a possibility. But at the same time, right, there is another possibility, okay, that, remember what I say, the trend is your friend until the end, highlighting the end, right, the end of the sentence, okay, it could come to an end, right? This trend could come to an end. What am I doing here? So yeah, I want to go down here. Okay, so we could see something. Let's just redo this. Let's just redo this. It'll make it easier. So yeah, instead, right, what we could be viewing is, of course, bullish structure. Okay, larger time frame bullish structure. We may not get the short trade, or right, we may not get the short trade from up here, but we could still get the short trade, see price pull back, okay, but we don't come down for a new low. We hold this bullish structure, okay, and then we actually come up higher and we come and take out this previous high right here. For me, okay, this playing out would, of course, be breaking that bearish structure. What would it also be doing? Okay, well, we would actually also, actually, I've got this already somewhere down here. Here we are. We would also be possibly breaking out of the bull flag. Okay, and that, of course, like I said, is another story for a possible short trade there. Okay, but this is something that we could be viewing, right? Where price pulls back, as we've done here, we see the rise, okay, for a short trade up here, for price to then pull back, hold this bullish structure, okay, and then we come back up. This is another scenario. This is what I like to do, right? I like to draw out scenarios in my head, okay, and I like to, of course, just plan the trades, right? Plan the trades, right? I understand that this is a level. What am I doing here? Don't need that. I understand, right, that this up here is a level that I'm actually interested in shorting. Okay, I understand that, right? If I do not get the short trade there, fine. Okay, I look for higher prices. Okay, I don't have to take the short trade there if there's no short trade, but I'm looking for the short trade here. Okay, and does that mean that we come down for a new low? No. Why? Okay, well, because we're actually then still technically in bullish structure. Okay, because we're kind of changing the structure, right? Where we've had, of course, bullish structure to bearish structure. But then, okay, we're forming larger time frame bullish structure. So for me, I'd be looking at this and thinking, okay, so we're still in bullish structure here, right? Say we get the short trade set up from here, price starts to pull back, okay, and we're sat around here in a nice short trade. I'll be saying, right, we're in bullish structure here. So actually, we could be looking for a higher low for then price to go back up. But I would also be saying, if we lose the bullish structure, okay, if we lose that bullish structure, then we're looking for that new low. Okay, that's how I would be viewing it. Why am I viewing it like this? Well, because it's just the trend that's been going on at the moment. Okay, so for me, again, like I said at the start, very simple. Still remaining bearish, still looking for lower prices until we invalidate, okay, this bearish structure. We invalidate that, right, fine. I can look towards this high up here, right, at like 65,000. Oh, why has that done that? Yeah, about $65,000, let's call it, right? So for me, it's patience from here. Patience from here. Okay, I understand. Yes, we had the long trade set up. Okay, unfortunately, like I said yesterday, explained yesterday, I didn't take it because I was asleep, so I didn't manage to get that trade. But there was the long trade set up from this naked point of control down here. Why? Because we had a GP 786, we had absorption into that level, so there was lots of support at that level. Again, lots of confluence for a long trade. Like I said, it happened late on Friday evening. I wasn't awake at that time, so unfortunately I did miss that. Okay, but off of that, right, this is something we had planned. Okay, if I was awake, I would have taken this. Okay, but this is something we had planned and I was talking about for a while. Yes, I still would prefer to long this. Okay, but nevertheless, if the setup is here, the setup is there, right? So you can take that. So we're seeing that nice rise up. Okay, can we continue to see the rise up? Yeah, of course. Like I said, if we break the bearish structure into bullish structure, we can look for higher prices from there. And yeah, if you did get that long trade, okay, that we had planned here, then congratulations, because that is a really, really nice trade. But yeah, for me, it's just like if I was in that long trade, I would be remaining a little bit cautious, right? Because right now we are failing to break the bearish structure. Okay, so just a little bit cautious. So by now, I would have already taken a TP1, moved the stop loss to entry, making it a completely risk-free trade. And then it's, again, just patience, right? If we see higher prices, great, right? The long trade continues to ride. If we pull back, okay, to the entry, fine, right? We've already taken a TP1, stop losses at entry, okay? And then what do we still have open? Okay, well, we still have, of course, that short trade open right here, okay? So we can take advantage if we do see that continuation to the downside, right? But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not in that scenario because, like I said, I missed that long trade there. But it's fine. I understand there's going to be a million trades in the future, and I understand, right, that we can get a nice short trade setup if we do continue higher. Okay, of course, it's just patience. It is looking for that setup, right? And yeah, executing the trade once you see the signs. Okay, once you see the signs, that is the time to be getting into the trade. So yeah, where we are looking at the order flow as well, we are seeing longs coming in. Okay, we are seeing longs coming in, but I wouldn't say a considerable amount of longs are coming in. If you kind of just look at it here, right, we've got 2.7 million longs here. Sorry, no, those are shorts that have got stopped out. So we've got, where are we here? So we've got 1.2 million longs coming in here. We've got a million longs here. We've got 4.3 million longs there. We've got 300K there, 1.4 there, 6 million, okay, getting there a little bit. But there's not a huge amount of long trades that's actually opening up on this move up here. So because yeah, what we're seeing is we're kind of seeing a mix of a bit of a bit of a short squeeze, but at the same time, we are still seeing some longs coming in, but we're not seeing a huge short squeeze either. We're kind of just seeing periods of short squeezes, right? So, looking at this, I don't think this is a really strong move up, in my opinion. I do not think this is a really strong move up. And at the same time, we are also forming bearish CVD. Like I was talking about yesterday and with the team this morning, we are now forming local bearish CVD here. So it's like, okay, are we going to get the pullback from here? There is, right. If we go into this, right, and we have a look, I'm sure we're respecting this GP as well. GP 786 level, because we can actually pull a GP 786 here as well. And of course, yeah, this is like I wouldn't trade this because there's only 2 bits of confluence, but this is like, say you took trades off of 2 bits of confluence, which I don't. Yeah, okay, there's a short trade here, which I would view as a day trade, but it could turn into a bigger swing trade, a bigger swing short trade. So I like the fact, right, we've got a GP 786. We are respecting it. We're rejecting from it. That is it, though. We don't have like a naked point of control there, which I would prefer to see. And at the same time, coming into that level of resistance, we do have that bearish CVD. Okay, so we can see lower highs on the price action chart, but on the CVD, we can see it is ticking up. So we've got higher highs here. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us there's more aggressive buying and longing here than there was here. However, here, okay, price made a higher price. Okay, but here price is failing to make a higher price, telling us that there are, kind of like big players here that are absorbing all of these buys, all of the longs that are coming in and stopping price from going higher. So looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, this could be a nice, a nice area for a pullback. Am I, like I said, am I going to trade this? No. Reason being is because the confluence isn't there for me. There's only 2 bits of confluence. I'd prefer to see like a naked point of control at that level. But a pullback from here, I wouldn't be all that surprised by. And yeah, that could turn into possibly a bigger pullback, right? Which could then, of course, let's go out to the bigger time frame again, which could of course then continue that bearish structure, of course, to a possible new low. So this is also something at the moment that we do need to be aware of. Again, like I'm not in a long, so I don't really, it's not something that I really have to pay attention to. It's nice to acknowledge it, of course, but let's say I was in this long trade, this is something I'd be paying attention to. Let's say I took a TP1, right, a little bit lower, maybe I'll be looking to take a TP2 here. Why? Because we're showing some signs of weakness at this moment. Okay, of course, right, if we can see enough longs coming in, yeah, right, we can push through this resistance and we can break the bearish structure. But right now I am starting to see some bearish signs here, which isn't great, right? It isn't great when it lines up with the bearish structure. Okay, so when you're coming up showing some bearish signs and you're failing to break that bearish structure and failing to break the bearish structure and continuing with the lower highs, it's like, okay, right, this is actually lining up here for a pullback for a new low. Okay, at least in this structure here. Okay, at least in this structure for a new low, for there may be a rise, for there may be another low, which would then ultimately be a new low in the larger bearish market structure. So this is kind of something that I would be a little bit aware of. Like I said, I'm not going to short this. I don't like the confluence at the level. I really do not like the confluence at the level. You could argue a daily, level here, but like I've said in a previous stream, I only like daily levels, weekly levels, monthly levels, naked points of controls. I only like them on the first touch. And what we've done here, of course, is we've come up, we've tapped it. We're now tapping it for a second time. So I wouldn't view this as as strong as it was previously, because it has, like I said, been tapped. So I can't really count that as confluence in my eyes. If it was an untapped daily, then great. Okay, we can short that. But unfortunately, it is a tap daily, so my confidence in that level has dropped massively. Just like over 2 years of building statistics on it, right? I understand that a naked level is most powerful when it's naked, right? Then once it's tapped, it's of course not naked anymore, because it's a tapped level, right? And then that's when it becomes less of a level. And that's just kind of what I've found after building statistics on it, right? And you know, working with it for like 2 years now. Okay, so for me, yeah, just not the trade there. If you look for 2 bits of confluence, if you are a trader that does look for 2 bits of confluence, then I understand, right? I understand, okay, but it's just not my way of trading. I'd rather look for 3 bits. Yeah, just to like give you an example, we had pretty much the exact same setup, but in the reverse back here, right? So we had, of course, a naked point of control here at $63,075. Price was pulling back, of course, here into a GP786, right? Pulled from the low to this local high here, right? We had the naked point of control, price pulled into it. We had bullish absorption. For me, that was the perfect entry for a nice long trade up. Okay, perfect trade up. If we didn't have that naked point of control, I wouldn't have taken that long trade. And okay, right, if price had continued higher, fine, right? I'm happy to have missed that trade because I understand that my probabilities in the trade would have dropped off massively if I didn't have that naked point of control. But because the naked point of control was there, the probabilities skyrocket on that trade, in my opinion. Okay, so of course this is all opinion based. This is what works for me, right? So here, you know, okay, yeah, it's on a lower time frame here. I understand, but yeah, here, right, I understand. Okay, we're showing some signs of weakness here. It's not something I would short, and yeah, I'm kind of more inclined not to short it as well because I'm in a short trade already. So it's like, you know, it doesn't really affect me. If well, of course, yeah, it would be nice to have a short from here if price was going to continue lower. But again, you know, I don't like to break the rules that I have for myself. I know what works and I stick to what works. I'm not going to change that. I always look for 3 bits of confluence. If I don't see 3 bits of confluence, I won't take the trade. It's just my preferred way of doing it, and it's what I found works for me. You know, I've of course tried taking trades off of 2 bits of confluence, but over time, right, I have built statistics and it hasn't worked, right? It just hasn't worked for me. Maybe it works for other people. Maybe it, you know, works for the trades that they take, but for me, it didn't work. It's the 3 bits of confluence. So I stick to 3 bits and like 3 and over, right? Of course, if you see 5 bits of confluence, absolutely amazing, right? Absolutely amazing. But 3 is the minimum that I will go. And that's like a A-star setup, a high probability trade setup, whatever you want to call it, right? But yeah, my point is we're showing some bearish signs here and we're continuing to hold this bearish structure. So that's why from here, we could look for lower prices, right? If we start to see, like I said, if we start to see lots of long trades coming in, then we can look for the bearish structure to be broken and we can look up, right? We can look up to 65,000. That's kind of what I would be targeting, right? But yeah, up until that point, okay, up until that point where we break this bearish structure, I will remain bearish, okay? I am just remaining bearish on Bitcoin and looking for lower prices. And I still do think that where we are, we can continue lower to a new low, sub $48,900. I still think that's a possibility. And as I said, the invalidation is breaking that bearish structure. Pretty simple, right? Of course, if you do guys have any questions, please do put them in the chat as well. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. And if you haven't already, please make sure you smash that thumbs up button. It helps me out, helps the channel out, and I can continue to bring this content to you. But yeah, what else? Of course, I ran through the naked points of control this morning. Looking up here. So we don't have any new levels. Who's ready? Damien, good to see you back, my friend. Who's ready for some crazy volatility next 2 weeks? FOMC meeting is going to wreck loads. Yeah. Yeah, probably. We see that happen a lot, right? Yeah, you always see people trading. You always see people trading the FOMC, don't you? And yeah, the majority of the time it is. Well, no, I would say all of the time it is gambling. To be honest with you, you don't really know what's going to happen. But yeah, it's not something I would ever trade. It is just it is something that, of course, I would be aware of, but I just wouldn't trade it. But yeah, it's like Damien said, it's going to bring lots of volatility in. It's going to wreck a lot of people, and that's why I don't trade it, because I don't want to be one of those people, one of those traders that gets wrecked in that. So yeah, not something for me. But I mean, if there's a trade set up during the FOMC, oh yeah, I'll take that any day. I would take that any day, as long as it's technical. The technicals are lining up for what I like to see when entering into a trade, and yeah, that's it really. And I could take a trade, but yeah, I can't really remember the last time I actually took a trade whilst the FOMC was going on. Definitely not in the last year and a half. But yeah, that'll bring lots of volatility, and yeah, lots of people will get wrecked. So that will be interesting to see how that plays out. Let's actually have a look. I'm on the right thing here. Fed interest rate decision, September the 18th. So that's 1 week. What have we got? Economic calendar. Have they changed this? It looks like they changed it. This shows that I never look at this stuff. Yeah, so we want United States and macro events. Okay, so this is high. No events found. That's day. Oh, okay, I see how it's done now. Weeks. I preferred the old one. How they had it before. So the 3rd of September, nothing. That's not really important, is it? Jobless claims, that's important, I'd say. Non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, CPI, of course. Yes, we've got a lot in September, haven't we? PPI inflation. Producer prices, jobless claims again. FOMC rate announcement. Yeah, so we've got a lot in September coming up, a lot. So yeah, I guess this is probably going to be a very volatile month, to be honest. Just like the Trump conference right at the top on the monthly naked point of control. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect example. Everyone got so incredibly bullish for that. So incredibly bullish. And yeah, look where we are. We are much lower than where we were back then. It again, it goes back to when everybody is thinking the same thing. The opposite's going to happen, right? The opposite's going to happen. And that's, just like another example of why I'm happy to be in a short trade at this moment in time, because I understand, okay, that everybody's also looking at a bull flag, right? So being in a short trade, in the first place, being in a short trade, because Bitcoin is in bearish market structure, is a valid reason, right? It's a very valid reason to be in a short trade in the first place. Second place is, of course, everybody is thinking the same thing. Everybody is looking at the same thing, which is a bull flag, expecting a break towards the upside, and looking for all-time high. And I talked about this in a previous live stream. Like looking at exo charts, it can give you, of course, like I mainly use it for when I'm entering into trades, but of course, right, I've got the desktop version open, not the sorry, I've got the web version open, not the desktop version, so I can't look all the way back here. But each rise that we've seen here, okay, for the lower high, all of them have been fueled by new longs coming in, and each dump, which has taken us to a new low, has been fueled by longs getting stopped out. Okay, and if you think about that logically, right? If you think about that logically, nobody is shorting the market, right? Well, I say that, but yes, people are shorting the market, right? But the large proportion of the sheep, right? And when I say sheep, I'm talking about the retail trader who, trades like retail traders. Those sheep are all doing the same thing, and they are not shorting these pullbacks when the pullbacks are actually taking us to new lows each time. Okay, so each pump, all of the sheep are FOMO longing, right? Why? Because we're in a bull market, right? We're in a bull flag, all of this stuff that's floating above their head, right? That they believe in, right? And it's just proof. Like ExoChart shows this perfectly, right? It shows us that there is just incredible amounts of longs that are opening up on each of these rises. Okay, and that itself gives us the information that we need to understand what the majority of the people in the market are doing or believing, right? And the majority of the people in the market are thinking all-time high again, okay, and are thinking we're going up. And this is where I'm thinking, right, okay, if everybody's thinking this and everybody's doing the same thing, which is of course longing every single rise up, and I mean every single rise up, but then getting completely wrecked on the pullback, I don't see how this is sustainable. Okay, I don't see how we're not going to see a huge crash at some point. Of course, right, we can change. I understand, right? I'm a trader myself. We adapt, right? Markets change. Okay, so maybe the structure changes. Sorry, maybe something changes. Okay, but at this moment in time, this is not sustainable price action. It's not, right? It's not sustainable price action. An incredible amount of longs opening up to then get completely wiped out for a new low. An incredible amount of longs open up for an incredible amount of longs to get stopped out, okay, and get wrecked. It's not sustainable. It is not sustainable at all. At some point, if this continues, there is going to be a big crash, right? There is. This is what we have to be aware of. Yeah, okay, I'm not saying that we are going to crash, right? It's not, it's hard to say this, right? Because it's not something I really do, okay? It's not something that I do. Like, I don't like to predict huge moves up or huge moves down, okay? I'm a trader. I will trade what the charts are telling me. But this is not sustainable price action. So something needs to change, okay? Something needs to change to prevent this big pullback, okay? And I'm like, yeah, okay, where we are right now, it's looking like we're going to get a big pullback. But things could change, okay? Which could then maybe, right? For an example, just to give you an example, we could get a big pullback here. Okay, this could be the last straw for all of those retail long trades. Okay, all of the retail traders who are very bullish on this market, right? This could be the last straw, and this is when they could all get very bearish, right? For example, it comes down to $45,000, right? This is where everybody could get bearish now. Okay, and that for me is then when I'm shifting my bias and thinking, okay, everybody's bearish now. Everybody's now thinking that we're going to go lower. This is a bear market. Oh, right. This is when we can actually look for a long trade and we can look for higher prices. Okay, that's how I would be viewing it. And that's how I'd be viewing it, like changing this very bearish scenario that we are in into bullish scenario. Okay. Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. The bull flag could play out. I understand that, right? Sometimes these things do play out, okay, in the retail trader's favor. I do understand that, okay? So, yeah, I'm not saying that this is not going to play out, right? It's a possibility, right? Anything is possible in these markets, okay? It's just about understanding what's going on, having that plan, okay, and then trading whatever plan starts to play out, okay? I.e., right, if we pull back here, and we get a long trade set up, fine, we can long this, right? If we break the bearish structure, we continue to ride the long higher. Great. Okay. Or for another example, we break this, we do not get a long trade set up, we ride the short trade lower. Okay. These are the things that I'm like planning. Okay. So yeah, for me, like I said, where we are now, it's just incredibly difficult to believe that this is sustainable price action. It's just not sustainable price action. Okay, FOMO longs coming in to then get completely wiped out of the market. At some point, this is going to go very, very wrong if this continues. So that's something to be aware of. That's something that I am aware of. But yeah, it's just, we'll see, right? We'll see. I can see a lot of comments have come in, so let's just pull them up. Okay, right. Bershan, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Hello, sir. Please, can you tell about Bitcoin's moments buy or short as per 6-hour charts and 1-day charts? So 6 hour, to be honest, I don't know the last time I looked at the 6-hour chart, but yeah, I mean, to be honest, like with the 6-hour chart, I'd be viewing it as the same as the 8-hour chart, right? It's similar, right? Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this, right? So for any short trades, well, of course, I'm already in a short trade, right? I'm already in a short trade, which of course I gave to the team in the Discord, which was, yeah, when was this? Back on the 27th, right? That was the short. Oh, I don't know why we're zooming in so much here. That was the short trade that I gave to the team on the Discord, right? Like I said here, taking a small head short against the long. Okay, this is the short trade that I'm in. Okay, from this high here. So that was the short really to have had. But yeah, if we come up higher here, I could look for a short trade here. That's where I'd kind of look for a short trade. Doesn't mean I'm going to take the short trade there. No, absolutely not, right? Absolutely not, because we could actually come up and we could continue to look bullish, right? And I'm not going to short when we're looking bullish, okay? It's only when we start to look bearish that I start to think, okay, this is a good idea to short. Let's short this and take this to lower prices. So yeah, like I said, this like 65 to like 60, between like the 65 and 67 area, that's where I would kind of be looking for that short trade. For the long trade, it would of course just be taking out this low here. Let's move this out of the way. Yeah, taking out that low. So I'd be looking for a long trade down here, right? So that's kind of the long trade, right? If we do get the setup, right? And then of course the short trade would be from like up here, of course, if we do get the trade set up. It all depends on what price does at the level, right? We may not get the trade, we may get the trade. It's all about looking at the order flow and seeing what is happening in the time, right? Are we seeing trap traders? Are we seeing a huge portion of the market getting wrecked? Are we seeing lots of traders get wrecked? Okay, it's all of these things that are important. The interest rate cut in September, on September the 18th. Moon boys don't know what's coming. Yeah, we will have to see, right? We will have to see, right? But yeah, I can only speak from a technical standpoint. I can only speak from a technical standpoint because yeah, I'm not a fundamentalist. Like I can't. I'm not very good at this. I'm not very good at reading news and predicting where predicting where price is going to go from there, or even the FOMC when the rate when rate cuts or the interest rate decisions come in. Like, I'm not very good at that. I'm not very good at like trading that. I understand that there are probably people out there who make money off of trading that and make lots of money off of trading that. That's not me. That's not what works for me. So I focus on the technicals. So it's like, okay, I understand that this cannot continue, right? Maybe that lines up with what people think, and yourself, Damien, what you think about what's going to happen after September, or on September the 18th and after that, right? For me, I can't really say that we're going to have a big pullback there, because I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't actually know. All I know is that where we are now, I consider this bearish. I don't think that this bearish structure can continue, right? I think, if this does continue, we could be in for a big crash. That's how I would be looking at it, to be honest with you. But yeah, things can change. Things can change quickly. If price reaches 67k right before rate cuts, and if it takes a fixed take a fixed range from all-time high to present, then you get good confluence at the 67k area. Yeah, I haven't actually. That is a good idea. Thank you for bringing that up. That is a good idea. I need to update the fixed range and see where we are. Yeah, 6 POC at $67,000. Yeah, POC at $67,000. So yeah, there's more confluence there. Yeah, thank you for that, Damien. Thank you for that. We've got naked points of control there as well. So yeah, lots of resistance at that level. Lots of resistance. So yeah, I like that. And again, that lines up with. That just lines up with, right, do we come into this resistance? Short trade setup. Okay, that's, yeah, that's a long trade, right? That's, of course, what we'd be kind of looking at here, right? That's kind of what we would be viewing. So, yeah, cheers for that. That's just more beautiful confluence. I do really need to clear up this object tree. It has got to the point where it is a complete mess. If your thesis is correct, then you might as well say bull run is over and we're now in a bear market for the next 18 months. Yeah, 18 months. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility, right? It is a possibility. Again, I wouldn't say, again, I don't care whether we're in a bull market or a bear market, but I'd say we're still in a bull market up until we lose 42,500. That's where I start to think, okay, right, this is pretty bad. Of course, we would be losing the mid-range of the parallel channel on the monthly, okay, which of course, I've walked through before. This is just one big range, isn't it? We've got in the middle, we've got the mid-range in the middle, okay, at like $42,000. If we lose the mid-range, I'm looking at this as any other trade, right? Any other trade. If we lose mid-range, we can look for lower prices, right? Does that mean we come down to range low, which is at $15,000? Yeah, we could possibly do that. Do I think it's going to happen? Not really. But yeah, lower prices. That's how I would view it. Okay, and then I'm looking for like consolidation down there, right? But yeah, for me, I don't care whether we're in a bull market or not. But yeah, I mean, I just can't see how this price action is sustainable with these retail traders continuously getting wrecked, like continuously getting wrecked. It's just not sustainable price action. I don't think any person can logically think that this is sustainable, right? Again, walking through it. Incredible amounts of longs opening up, incredible amounts of longs opening up, incredible amounts of longs opening up, incredible amounts of longs opening up. And every single time they all get wrecked and we go down to a new low every single time. It's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable at all. So yeah, it's just like, I look at that and I think, this is not looking too good, but we'll see, right? We'll see. The bull flag looks so easy to trade, but as soon as Bitcoin breaks all-time high, they measure it wrong and usually get trapped holding the bag and drive a huge lower price. Yeah, exactly. They have absurd with these bull flag targets. It's like from the low of the pole to the top of the pole. It's just an absurd target. Yeah, 100%. I agree there. Hindsight, when the bull flag breaks to like 80k, everyone thinks 100k easy. Market cycle top and market cycle bottom should be 30 to 35k. Yeah, everybody's going to think 100k, and that's why I've said this. Like, I think just off of experience, I think if we do come close to 100k, or like, yeah, we're going up to 100k, I don't think we're going to tap 100k. I think we'll front run it, bear market, and then we'll come up on the next bull market. We did that with 70k. We came just below 70k, and then it was the bear market. So it's like psychological levels are very important to think about. Or being so greedy and forget to take profits and get trapped high. Yeah, that's what retail traders do all of the time. They get incredibly greedy. And yeah, they don't take profits, right? They think their little trade is going to take them to becoming a millionaire. What about as per the 200 EMA in the 6-hour chart? I don't look at the 200 EMA, to be honest with you. It's not something that I do look at. Let's just 200. Can I make it EMA? What am I doing here? Can I make it easy for myself here? I don't know. It's not worth the risk. Let's just do EMA. Okay, so are you looking at it as resistance here? Is this where your 200 EMA is? Yeah, I mean, you can look at that as resistance. It's not something I trade. So yeah, I don't really know. Let's see what you said. Just forces the minus 70% plus crash on Bitcoin. Yeah, yeah. My mouse is playing up again. What do you think, sir? Currently buying candles till how much can climb up? What do you think? Currently buying candles till how much can climb up? So I don't really understand. Currently buying candles till how much can climb up? Well, how much it can go up? Yeah, like if we're talking about how much Bitcoin can go up, I think if we break this bearish structure that we're in, I think we can go close to all-time high, if not all-time high. That's kind of where I would be looking for. If we break this bearish structure here, okay, great. Like we can look to all-time high, I think. Not necessarily all-time high, because I do have, there's another story for that, right? Where everybody's going to expect all-time high. Maybe we front run it for a bigger pullback and then we go all-time high, something like that. But yeah, I can't really say where we're going to go until we break this structure. All I can say right now is that we're probably going to remain in this structure. Why? Because we're still in the structure. So as long as we break if we break the bearish structure, okay, we can look to like it's 80k. We can look towards like all-time high, right? If not just like a front run of all-time high. If we continue lower here, then we look for that bearish structure to continue, okay, and we look for lower prices. That's how I view it, really. Does your thesis assume retail is only evolved in future and do not buy in futures and do not buy spot? Well, yeah, I guess the thesis is right that we're looking at this, which it is all market buys on futures, right? It is all market buys on futures, but again, this is a very, very good portrayal of what everybody portrays what a lot of the people in the markets are doing, right? So that is something that is to think about, right? Yeah, okay, this is only showing a section of the market, which is the future longs, market longs and market shorts. But what you have to think as well, right? This is a large chunk of people that are doing this. And, we all know, right? You're not going to see a large chunk of people doing this just on Bybit alone, okay? Everybody that's longing this move up here, right? Well, you're going to see the same people, and you can do this on the desktop version as well, where you can actually link all the exchanges together, and you can actually see what everybody on all of the exchanges are doing, right? But looking at this on Bybit, right, I can automatically know that going over to Binance, okay, looking at the Binance charts, I know that the same thing is going to be going on. Okay, I haven't really. We've got BitMEX. It's USDT. But yeah, it's you can kind of like what you kind of expect, right? That it's just kind of just what happens, right? Everybody kind of does the same thing, right? And no matter what exchange it's on, right? Everybody's is kind of doing the same thing. No problem, my friend. It's good to see new faces here. I don't believe I've seen you here, so it's good to see new faces. Currently, like AJ said, there's no proof of all-time high, as we still could drop to 42,500. Our structure is still weak, but only one way this range is going to move on some huge bullish news or something. Yeah, exactly. It's like we have to have something that breaks that bearish structure. We have to have something come in to get those long trades coming in, because, and you know, it has to be long trades to come in. It has to be long trades to come in to take us to all-time high. Why? Because no one is shorting up here. Like, none of these retail traders are shorting up here. They're all longing, okay, and they're all getting wrecked. They're not actually shorting. So it has to be new long trades come in, because there is a very minuscule amount of, you know, in terms of what the longs are doing and what the shorts are doing. There's a very minuscule amount of shorts that are opening up here in terms of, yeah, how many longs there are. There's a lot more longs opening up than shorts. So it has to be longs that fuel this move up. So yeah, it has to be some huge move that takes us to all-time high. Buying the media and telling them some bad news to force price at 42,500 level. Buying the media and telling them some bad news to force price to $42,000 level. Yeah, I mean, what you have to think about with news, okay, this is how I think about it, is people already know before the news is released. Why? Because someone has to release that news. You know, so there's always people that know the news before you know the news, and unless you have like inside sources, you know the news too late. Once you read the news, you've read it too late. Even if you read it as soon as it comes out, it's already too late. So that's something to be aware of with news, and that's why I stay clear of trading any news, because yeah, all news is late news. You know, it's like buy the rumor, sell the news. Perfect way to put it. Buy the rumor, sell the news, right? But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to cut that there. I've got someone waiting on me, so I will have to cut that yeah, a little bit short. I mean, we've been live for almost an hour now, so yeah, I will leave that there anyway. I do have someone waiting on me, so I am going to yeah, head off now. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you yeah, all have a lovely rest of your day. I'm gonna have to rush off. Sorry for the rush. I've just seen a message, so I do need to rush off. But yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. I hope this has given you some value. And yeah, thank you for everybody for putting your input. Damien, always good to see you here. Bushan, hopefully I'm saying that right. Mr. FFS, what a nightmare. Still love that name. Good to see you back, my friend. So yeah, thank you all for putting yeah, your input into the charts. Always appreciate that. Thank you very much for watching. Please do smash that thumbs up button as always. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. So take care and see you later. Goodbye.
Take me home, 'cause I wanna feel like I belong. They relate to all this pain my past, so they listen to my song. So let's go back to where it began and where it all started from. Take this chance, one last dance, 'cause I've been waiting.